Hi guys, today I want to show you how to start using a DSLR camera. Before we get started, I just want to point out that if you're wondering which camera you have, because some of them will look a little bit different, if you look on the side, this is the make, it's a Nikon, and the model is the D3100. In this particular case, yours might be different, but for all intents and purposes, most of the stuff we're going over will be similar enough that you'll be able to follow along. Okay, so first things first, before we do anything, don't touch anything until I tell you to, because you can actually damage the camera. But to turn the camera on and off, that's the on and off button right there, and you just turn this on, and obviously if there's a battery in the camera, you'll see that the camera will turn on. If I wait a few seconds, you're going to see that this little display right here goes away. It's not that the camera is off, it's just that it's saving battery. So to bring that back, if you want to see it, press the info button and it's back. And it'll fade away again. So it's set to a timer. Now something I want to go over right now that's very important before anything else is the lens. Don't touch anything on the lens yet until you know something very important. This is a focusing dial, don't move it. This is the zoom lens, which changes really the focal length. So you can have a wide angle to, in this case, it's normal. We don't really have a telephoto capacity. It's just a 55. And this is the auto and manual focus right here. So for us, let me explain what this means. Again, this is where you can seriously damage the lens if you don't know what you're doing. We're going to set the lens to M, or manual, on the side, and what that means is that you can manually focus the camera by turning this. Don't do that if it's set to auto, because it's actually locked. And so you would look through your viewfinder right here, and while you're focusing, you can clearly see. This will not control what's in focus. This controls the focal length. This controls the focus. So focusing dial, focal length, or zoom, I'm going to call it dial, but it's really for focal length, and auto or manual. Now if you set it to A for auto, here's what that means, that it will autofocus. And usually these cameras are set to be center weighted, so that means that whatever's in the center of the lens is what you're going to have in focus. And I'm going to turn this so I have a little bit of a longer display to show you this, and move this back, put my hand out like this, and if I hold my hand down, do you see how the focal point turns? Now you never turn this when it's set to auto, but if I move my hand and press the shutter release button down again, it's going to turn again. And what you're listening for is that beep. So that beep means that something is in focus. So now my hand's in focus, and if I move my hand away, you can't see it in this picture, but the wall is probably about 15 feet in that direction. So I'm holding the shutter release button down, and the focus will modify and focus on the wall all the way in the back. Depending on what you're trying to do, some photographers prefer manual, some prefer auto, but that is the starting point for us. So again, on and off, the info button for looking at the display, the focusing dial, which you only turn when you're on manual, and the autofocus, which you only use when the camera's on. So that's the start.